buy raw meat and it is written that after 5 days you cannot consume it. But say, for example, after 2 days only, you see that it is becoming very, a kind of, in terms of appearance and in terms of its look, because you have not opened the pack from outside, you can see only. You can find out that it's not that fresh, it is not looking that fresh. So why it happens? It happens because this kind of products, like many of the food products, they are given with lot of enzymes, and like there are a lot of bacteria. Some are good, some are not good, like that, and there can be lot of microbial effects and all. So all these things can cause degradation of the food product. Okay. Now, aseptic packaging therefore ensures that your package is going to retain its product property for a bit extended time. Say, for example, if you don't use this aseptic packaging concept, you may preserve this meat for, say, 2 days. But in terms of the aseptic packaging, you may extend that for another 3 days, so you can get 5 days. But one thing you should keep in mind that aseptic packaging is only going to retain or only going to maintain the food quality that is being packed. It is not going to increasing or improving the quality. You have to keep it. It does not mean that you have a very low quality product and you use this aseptic packaging and your product quality will be good. It is not that. It is the purpose is that there are many products, especially biodegradable products, say for example fruits, vegetables, and there may be some medicinal things also where we use live bacteria and all these things. So in those cases, they need a particular condition which need to be maintained, and aseptic packaging fundamentally looks into that. So if you uh, remember the initial days, we said that this is the package. If I consider this is the package, and say for example inside this is the product. Okay, now this is called the internal environment of the product. Okay, and to this environment, internal environment, and to this environment your product gets directly exposed, and there is a kind of interaction in between the product. So this is the product and this is the environment inside. So there is a direct like communication, or would like to say interaction between them. So we should be very carefully selecting this space, this gap. Normally in all these cases you will see that in none of this kind of packaging, the package is entirely filled up. There is always a gap. Any this kind of aseptic packaging, you will always see there is a gap. If you think of a bottle of medicine also, you will see it is never filled totally, but maybe to some space, and some space is left as it is. There is nothing. But although it looks like there is nothing, there is something. Okay, and this space is called head space. And this head space chemistry is very important for maintaining a proper map. Sorry, a proper packaging condition so that your product remains intact for a longer time. We are not going to much detail about headspace chemistry, so this is just for your information. So to achieve this aseptic packaging, there are many different approaches. One of the most important approach in this aseptic packaging is called MAP. Okay, MAP stands for Modified Atmosphere packaging. In these cases, in case of modified atmosphere packaging, as the name says, what is basically happening, if I draw that picture again, like say this is the product and this is the package. And this modified atmosphere packaging is basically an approach where this space, this atmosphere to which your product is getting exposed and interacting with, it is been modified. It is just not kept as it is. Okay, so it is modified such a way that the product get its required environment or atmosphere within the package, not outside the package. Once you break the seal or once you use it, then this is going to get affected. But till you open it, till that time, it is going to maintain the atmosphere which is required, which is a favorable atmosphere for that particular product. Okay, so this is called map. And how map is attained, there are many ways, but one of the major ways how the map is attained is also called gases. By using different gases, that is why it is also sometimes alternatively called gas packaging. But gas packaging is a bit limited in terms of its description. So better it is said map. So there are different gases which are used in map, and these are oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen. Okay. So these two are the three major gases which are used. Apart from that, experimentally there has been use of carbon monoxide, and also there are some noble gases which is also been used. Okay. So there are some different type of gases, but among those basically oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and experimentally we can say there is been used that some carbon monoxide and noble gases are used. Okay. Now, as you know that this among these things like oxygen, carbon dioxide are very important because most of the cases, say for example, if you think of raw meat or raw fish, now what happens basically? What if you think of a raw meat or raw flesh, then you will see it is having a reddish kind of appearance. Okay, but with time, if you just keep it in the environment, you will see that that keeps on fading out, and it initially takes a pink kind of appearance. Okay, so it initially takes a pink kind of appearance with time, and then it start a bit fading. So we can guess that this meat is not very fresh, and this happens because of oxidization. Okay, because these pigments basically get oxidized, and it changes its color. So, when you are packing this thing, you have to be very careful that what the kind of or what is the kind of oxygen that is permeable, because like whether you are packing it in a plastic or maybe some other product, we tell that okay fine, this plastic is a food grade plastic and plastic in general is non porous, even though it is getting exposed to environmental oxygen. So there can be a possibility that a migration can happen between the environment, that is the external environment, and the internal atmosphere. Because theoretically this is not going to happen, but practically this can happen. So to considering with a consideration to that migration, the internal atmosphere is maintained such a way that you don't have any kind of degradation to a certain degree. It is not, again I'm saying, it's not that you are using MAP means your meat or your food product is going to remain as it is for a very long time. It's not that. It may be slightly, as I already told, suppose this raw meat is going to be fresh for 3 days. If you don't use MAP, by using MAP you can extend it to another 2 3 days, to that extent only. Okay. Similarly, carbon dioxide also is used. It is majorly used for products like coffee and chocolates and this kind of products. Okay, and in these cases, carbon dioxide is used, but like there is a one of the major problem of carbon dioxide is like if it is if it gets diluted with the internal moisture and water content, it can produce carbolic acid. So for that reason, like it is not always very preferred, but there are few products like coffee and coffee products where this um, carbon dioxide is used. And why carbon dioxide is used, that is majorly to means to to restrict the reproduction of bacteria and other enzymes or microbial inside the product. Okay, I will have a small talk on what are the different agents that basically create problem on the food afterwards, just after this. So this is what is about the carbon dioxide. Nitrogen, as you know, that it is an inert gas, so it does not do anything as such reactive wise problematic. But nitrogen is majorly used, for gas filling. That means if you want to make inside very inert, then we can use this nitrogen gas. You might have seen in case of many cases of this crackers, potato chips, and all these things, you get a very bumped kind of packaging. So that is basically filling with these gases, nitrogen, so that it does not react anything with, but the inside product, this especially the oily and fatty kind of products, which is having lot of oil instances, that can be preserved very well. Okay. Coming to carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, as it been said that it is not commercially used yet, but it is being found that it can help in stopping this browning effect. Browning effect means, say for example, in case of apples or some of the other fruits, if you just cut a part of the fruit and you keep in the air, you will see that it becomes brown kind of appearance, and it becomes very soft, and in Bengali we call tak take and all these things. So this is basically a kind of enzyme growing over there, which causes this browning uh, effect. Okay, and this carbon monoxide can be a very good agent to stop that. But as you know, that carbon monoxide is having many disadvantages, like first of all, it is very much flammable, and also so it's not very much advised, but experimentally it has been found a good alternative to many of the existing gases used for MAP. The last one, as I already told, that there are many noble gases, and in this noble gases, what is going to happen? Like there are many gases, like we have helium, we have argon, xenon, this kind of gases, and they have also been found a good possibilities in terms of gas packaging. But again I'm saying that it is not very much practically or commercially used yet. Its potential has been experimented and been reported. So these are the major gases used for map. So this topic basically covered gases used for map. I will send you the handout of this. So just try to understand now. So if you have any doubt till here, please ask me.
বলছি তাহলে কি যখন প্রোডাক্ট ফিলিং হচ্ছে তারপর কি গ্যাসটা ফিল করা হচ্ছে তার ভিতর?
হ্যাঁ, প্রোডাক্ট ফিলিং এর পরে এটা করা হয়। ইনফ্যাক্ট এটা প্যাকেজের মধ্যে থাকে। আমি এটা বলছি একটু, মানে এটা প্যাকেজিংটা দেখলে পরে তুমি বুঝতে পারবে। আর হ্যাঁ, সেইভাবে করা হয়। নট এটা সবসময় যে আগে পরে হয় এরকমও না, ইট ক্যান হ্যাপেন সাইমালটেনিয়াসলি।
ওকে স্যার।
Okay, as she has asked me, like, it's not always that first the product will be filled, then it will be gas packed. It may not be always like that. There are many cases like the package is like this, like there are two chambers actually. Okay, so inside this means what you say basically the tri pack or double pack and this kind of things come. Okay, so in these cases what happens basically, between these two layers, although its gap is very minute, these are being provided with the different materials which can help to, you know uh, first of all they actually help to stop the interaction between the external atmosphere and internal atmosphere, and they also help in maintaining the internal atmosphere condition. Okay, so these are the kind of arrangements which can also be found, but it is not always very visible to the buyers. Hmm. Okay, the next topic, like as we have already seen that what is map, why it is required, and what are the general gases used for map. We also need to have a bit of idea that what are the different agents that can cause this food degradation. So what are the different, we can call them biodegradation agents. Okay. There are many, but fundamentally the agents are like which causes biodegradation. The first one is enzyme. The next one is there are different microbials. Next one is obviously bacteria, and you can have another one which is called fungus, fungi. This kind of things. Okay. Now, first of all is enzymes. Now, enzymes, like this is a bit tricky thing, enzymes, because there are many food products. Say, for example, if you think of curd, cheese, this kind of product to make the, or even the bread, all these things, they basically need a kind of enzymes to make the food itself. So you cannot just use any kind of protection which is going to uh, kill these enzymes which are required for the food. Hmm. So that is why that enzymes are important, but your packaging should be such that you retain the enzymes which are required for the food and you destroy the enzymes which are not required, and more than destroying what is been actually done by aseptic packaging, that it retards the growth rate. That is what basically any aseptic packaging map these things does. Retard the growth rates. Basically what happens if you think of a food thing, means what are these basically? These are the protein bodies, right? So they need food and they basically grow by reproduction system, and to reproduce they need food and they need a situation or an atmosphere which is favorable for them to grow. Like, as you already know that there are certain time in the year when some particular diseases increases, because that is the atmospheric condition which is favorable by those bacteria to grow. Okay. So what does this does, this aseptic packaging and all, they basically retard the growth rate. Suppose the growth rate is with time, if I plot, suppose it is going exponentially. So this particular packaging map and other kind of aseptic packaging, they basically restrict this kind of growth. Okay. So enzyme is one of those biodegradation agents which need to be controlled, and enzymes are major threat for products like curd, cheese, bread, fruits, okay, and vegetables. But as I already said that controlling enzymes is one of the most tough job, because you have to make a control such a way that the required enzymes for the particular food is retained, and which are not required and overgrowth of the enzyme colony is been retarded. Now coming to the microbials, and or you can also say these are the different microorganisms that are used. Now microorganisms management is a bit easier because microbials, they have a very good temperature sensitivity, means there are microorganisms who means they can be divided into different group depending on their withstanding capability of the heat. Okay, there are few microbials which can exist or which can even reproduce in a certain low temperature, but there are microorganisms which cannot withstand the low temperature or maybe a very high temperature. Based on this bacteria is been divided into different groups. Okay, the first one is called psychrotrophic. Psychrotrophic. Psychotrophic bacteria are cold tolerant. That means they can tolerate the low temperature, even as low as 4 degrees centigrade. Okay, and they can survive in that particular temperature also. So when you are having a product pack, now how this temperature resistance is important, that I'm going to say. Let me first say that what are the different types of microbials that we generally get. One is psychotropic, which is a cold loving one, sorry, cold tolerant one. Next one is called psychrophilic. Psychrophilic are cold loving. Okay, psychrophilic are, they actually like a bit, cold kind of temperature. Okay, and the temperature something in the range of 20 degrees centigrade, like something like 18 to 20 degrees centigrade is a very favorable conditions for them. In this temperature, they can grow very rapidly. Okay, but to a very low temperature like psychrotropic can survive even in the temperature of 4 degrees centigrade, they cannot do that. Okay, but also if you have a very higher temperature like 20 degrees centigrade and above, then also they cannot survive. The next one is called thermophilic. Thermophilic microorganisms are basically, uh, sorry, I think I made a mistake. So it should be mesophilic. Before thermophilic, we must have mesophilic. Mesophilic, yeah. So mesophilic is, as the name says, and as it is coming in the middle, they have a mid range of temperature tolerance. Neither very hot, neither very cold. So generally in between 20 to 45 degrees centigrade. This is the range in which they are very comfortable and they can have a very good growth rate. Okay. The next one is coming the thermophilic. Thermophilic, as the name says, that it can tolerate a much higher degree of heat, and generally in the terms of temperature they can resist from 45 to up to 60 degrees centigrade. Okay, and they are basically heat loving. Okay, so if you just keep and you think that, okay, my environmental temperature or my atmosphere, it's a very summer hot day and there won't be any kind of thermophilic bacteria. It's not that. They can survive even in the temperature of 60 degree centigrade. Okay, and the last one is called thermodiuric. Thermodiuric, as the name says, that they cannot survive means in a very high temperature, but at a temperature range of 70 degrees centigrade and slightly higher than that, they can survive. But one thing you have to keep in mind, that although, like say for example, this psychrotropic has been said, they are cold loving, they can survive, they can tolerate cold environment at 4 degrees centigrade, or thermodiuric can survive at a temperature of around 70 degrees centigrade. But the major advantage for us is they can survive, but they cannot reproduce generally in this particular temperature range. That means in thermodiuric case, at up to 70 degrees centigrade they can survive and they can grow. But if it is more than that, they may survive but they cannot grow anymore. Okay, now why the problem happens basically, like most of these cases, they actually grow either in binary fashion or maybe in exponential fashion. So in your food, so the bacteria or other microbiomes are there. So what is food for you is also food for them. So what happens basically, they make a colony over there. They get their food, their nutrients from your food. Okay, and they keep on growing. Okay, and at some point of time, what is going to happen, like this whatever is the nutrient in the food that you are going to consume, that is going to get over. So what will happen, they will come in a scarcity of food and they will keep on dying. So that is why you will see none of these microbiomes or bacteria, they don't have a very huge lifespan. Okay, but they can survive. survive in the sense that the till you have a food availability, you have a nutrients availability, till then they will survive and grow. And because of this exponential growth only they die. Suppose they have food for up to 100 bacteria, but they keep on growing. So, this 100 is becoming 1 lakh. So, what is going to happen? Very soon they are going to, fall shortage of food. So, they are going to die also in that point of time. So, that is what is the difference between survive and growth. Okay. Now, that is why also you will see in most of the cases it is generally advised that you boil your food for a good amount of time before you consume in most of the cases. Okay. But in there are some cases where you cannot boil, so in those cases it should be very carefully controlled in terms of aseptic packaging and map, so that these type of microbials cannot have more than the tolerable amount of existence. If like, since they are so small, in almost everything they are present. But in human bodies also there is a immune system and there is a immunity procedure, that it's not that only one or two or a certain amount of bacteria is or the microbials are going with you inside your body is going to affect you badly. So basically that's what I am telling from the beginning, that all these technologies or all these concepts fundamentally control the growth rate of these agents. Okay, it's not means fully destroying the agents, but they are controlling the growth rate. And you will also see that in many of the products it is clearly written that best uh, best preserved in the case of means within 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. So this kind of instructions are given, and this temperature range comes from the kind of microbial agents which can cause degradation to this product. Okay. The next one is bacteria. As you already know that bacteria is there in every cases, but all the bacteria are not bad. There are many bacteria which are good. Okay, which will we generally call probiotics. Okay, like there are many foods. Say for example, curds, milks. They also have bacteria, but these bacteria are good for the health, and that is why you will say it is a generally said thing that don't consume lot of antibiotics and all, because what happens that in their destroying process or in their healing process, many of the times they kill some of the important bacteria which are required for your body. Okay, so that is one of the reasons why it is generally advised not to consume these antibiotics very frequently and all. Anyway, I'm not going to do anything on medicinal part because I don't have any knowledge on that. So generally, this bacteria, what happens? The bacteria is having a binary kind of growth. Like they have two, then four, then 16. Likewise, they grow. So that is why they are having a very rapid growth actually. But bacteria is also having a very well defined, the growth span, I can say. Like they are having a very well defined, span of their existence, and it is something like this. Initially what happens, this is called the lag phase. Okay, in this lag phase what happens, they generally don't grow. Okay, they generally don't grow, they just get accustomed to the environment. Okay, then there is a log phase. Okay, in this log phase it is a logarithm growth in there, because they have already got accustomed, and they start an exponential growth. And after that what happens, there is another phase which is called a stationary phase. That means they basically don't grow, and the main reason is they have just the food required for all of them. Suppose there is a situation which does not stay for very long, where the food is just sufficient for how many bacteria are there. Okay, if you have one more, then the food will be shortage. Okay, so what is going to happen then obviously after, and that is why this stationary period does not long very long time. Okay, so after that what happens, they start dying. Okay, and this is called the mortality phase. So these are the four phases. This phase is called lag phase, where the bacteria basically get accustomed to the environment where they are going to make their colony. And then this is the log phase, as the name says, that they basically grow, they basically reproduce in a logarithmic manner, that is an exponential manner. And then there is a stationary phase, and this is called the mortality phase, where mortality phase, where they basically die out, and that also happens quite rapidly, as you can see the curve. Okay, so to identify, means in case of any bacteria, what is basically targeted, that these phase, like this phase, is been controlled, so that they don't get accustomed to the atmosphere very quickly. And that's what map does. Say for example, in general, what happens, the temperature may fall, the inside oxygen content may fall. This can happen if you don't have map. But map, what it does, it keep on supplying the required environmental component, so that they don't get a phase of very much stability. So that is why they generally don't get into this lock phase. Okay, and that is how this bacteria control is done in case of map. And finally, fungi, as you know, that they are basically, in case of, uh, in many of the cases, especially in breads, in Bengali we called ছাতকুড়া পড়ে যাওয়া. But if you even keep this jam jellies for a very long time, you will see they also have the same kind of effect. So this also can grow, and basically, one of them which is very commonly seen is yeast. Okay, and yeast is very commonly seen, one of the form of this fungi which can happen. Okay, so and another form which is called mold. So there are two things, one is yeast and one is mold. These two are the most commonly found fungi in the nature, and also they cause huge amount of food degradation if proper control is not taken. And one of the main difference between like yeast and mold is like they are basically multi-celled. Okay, and yeast are the single celled. Although these are a bit biological things, I'm not going into that, but just for your information, that yeast and molds are the two major threat which has been used, uh, which can cause biodegradation to the food. But there is another advantage, that they have a very high sensitivity to the pH. Like if your environment is highly, means if the pH is well maintained, then you can resist the growth of this kind of fungi and biodegradation agent. So these are in general, in brief, that what are the different biodegradation agents. And that's all for the day. I'm just going to sum up today's thing, and then you have any doubts you can ask me. So today's takeaway, we basically got introduced to what's uh, today's takeaways are: first is we got introduced to aseptic packaging. We also got introduced to what is map, and we know what are the different gases used for map. And we also understood that what are the different so that's all for the day. If you have any doubts, you can ask.